Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to welcome everyone. Drop in the comments where you're coming in from today. We are live everywhere. We need to jump over to Instagram real quick and go live there. Drop in the comments. Let me know where you're watching. I'm streaming on Instagram, YouTube, our Frequence fan page, also on Facebook, my author page. I want this message to get to everybody. So drop in the comments where you're coming in from. I can see all of your comments, and very excited to see where everybody's coming in from. So my name is Barb Pitcock, and I have been No Guts, No Story every Saturday morning for many, many years. And I don't know how many years you all have been following along, but what a journey it has been. And today I want to talk to you about something that's very near and dear to my heart. Some of you know, some of you don't know. There is a movement happening. There is a legacy being built. There is something that's so much bigger than making money or hitting a rank or building a company. And for those of you that don't know, we have a nonprofit called Invisible Angels Foundation. And this is not something new. Years and years ago in 2006, I started Invisible Angels alongside my mother-in-law, Cindy. And it was something back then. I had no idea where the next 10, 15 years of my life would take me. But, back then, I really wanted to reach young girls. And your story, your pain, your purpose becomes your passion. And so the focus back then was bullying or insecure little girls, teenagers making the wrong decisions, trying to fit in, low self-esteem, growing up in a home where there was maybe abuse. And it's crazy because in 2006, when I started Invisible Angels Foundation, my biggest fear was some little girl was going to go home from school and cutting was a big thing. They were cutting themselves or turning to sex at a very young age, which I had a whole story around that. And I would be very vulnerable at these events, trying to reach someone and letting them know you are not alone. So you are not alone, and keep going has been a theme for us for many, many years. As my kids grew up and became D1 athletes, football, dance, cheer, whatever, wherever life took them. Later, my son kind of took the baton and ran with it as he started a nonprofit. And during that decade, the focus was really around suicide awareness and prevention and mental health. Many of you know, some of you don't know. If we're just meeting today, my name is Barb Pitcock, and as the CEO of a company named Frequence and the founder of a movement called Invisible Angels Foundation, this has been many, many years in the making. And, God has a plan for each and every one of us. But today I want to talk to you about what is that for you and how can you be a part of being an answer to someone else's prayer. Like, how many invisible angels are around every single one of us every day? My son Chance went through a crazy battle after playing K-State football. And I remember him finding his purpose and his passion in raising awareness about suicide, thoughts of suicide. And, his uncle, Dave's only brother, took his life in 2001. And it really shaped a passion and compassion in our family to be aware of the people around you and to care and to be someone's invisible angel. And every single one of us can do that. So whether we were building a nonprofit or just waking up and going through our day, every day you have to think, how could I be the answer to someone else's prayer? And I want to share with you a story that happened last night. Somebody was there for my kids when they felt like giving up, or maybe they almost did. Some of you know, some of you don't know, my oldest daughter survived not just once, but twice overdose on fentanyl. And I always think to myself, some of the very things that we hate and we despise that have caused us so much pain and so much hurt are the very things that shape our story and our purpose and our passion. So today I want to talk to you not as the CEO of a company that's literally sweeping the world with a mental health movement called Feel Good Now Revolution, but I want to talk to you about something that's so much bigger than a company, a product, climbing the ladder, hitting your rank, getting your degree, whatever it is. I want to ask you, how could you be an answer to someone else's prayer? And I want to share with you a story from last night. Last night, Invisible Angels teamed up with the Bucket Brigade, which is a local, I'm in Kansas City, sitting on my daughter's back deck, spent last evening downtown in a park where all the homeless live, and teamed up with an organization called God's Bucket Brigade. Now, Invisible Angels is building, and a nonprofit is just that. There's no profit, right? So when you're starting, you want to do whatever you can to build. And my big, bodacious dream is to have centers all over the world and to have volunteers, therapists, doctors, people that are qualified. And I'm not, right? I'm not. God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the ones that he calls. And when you feel a calling on your life, you need to take action on that calling. The story last night, I was standing there handing out Rise Nootropics, giving away tons of products. I had some pain cream. I had a cooler full of cold waters. I had lots of little pamphlets that said Invisible Angels on them and a little QR code that would take them to invisibleangels.foundation. And if you go there, you will see what Invisible Angels is about. We can't be the hotline for someone that's ready to take their life. We're not qualified for that. We can't be the one that puts someone in a treatment center. I mean, one day, yes, but today we have to begin with the end in mind. And very few people as supporters at this point even know what Invisible Angels is. But last night, I witnessed a girl that walked up, and the lady standing there by me introduced me to her. And I was live streaming right here on our fan pages. And she said, so I think I can get you a bed at that treatment center. And the girl said, yeah, I know. I need to talk to my boyfriend. And standing there at the table, looking at her, I was having flashbacks as a mom so many times, trying to get my daughter into a treatment center, trying to find an empty bed, trying to get her to leave a life that I knew wasn't serving her, to change her, right? To help her, to control her, to cure her, to all the things. And my mama heart was thinking to myself, this is someone's daughter. And I said to her, what keeps you from wanting to make that change? What is it? And she looked me right in the eyes and she said, meth. It's meth. This young girl had no teeth. She was soaking wet. There was just a huge thunderstorm that almost rained us out. She was soaking wet. She had her jean shorts on under a sundress that she had picked up from the table that I had brought from our home. She said, I love this dress. I love this dress, but it's kind of low and I have to wear my sports bra under it. And she felt different, right? She felt a little bit different. And I said, it looks beautiful on you. And I'm very naive, guys. I'm very naive. All I could think about standing there was, we live in the country, and sometimes my dog will get out and he will get sprayed by a skunk. And then we have to do like vinegar and tomato juice and all the things to get the dog to smell better. Hundreds of people in a line, sweating in the humidity of 100 and some degrees. Rainstorm had just happened. They're all soaking wet. And all I could think is like, someone got sprayed by a skunk. Someone got sprayed by a skunk. This morning when we were walking, and I was walking with Callie and Darian and my husband Dave, and we were pushing their new beautiful little baby boy. We were in the park and I was like, I smell a skunk. And they were like, that is not a skunk. I am not even thinking how many people in that park last night smoking marijuana, right? I'm a Kansas girl that grew up on a farm. I've never done a lot of these things, but I have such a heart for people that are struggling. And last night, the smell was enough to, I mean, right when I got home, before I came into the house and held my newborn little boy, grandson, who has everything to look forward to, I went downstairs, I took off all my clothes, I took a shower, and I thought to myself, hot running water, a refrigerator with cold drinks. They were ordering pizza, plenty of food. And what is the difference in this life over here, where you can have anything that you dream of, and this life over here where you settle? And what I saw last night was a soul that was struggling, that doesn't love themselves enough. Let me talk to my boyfriend. Let me ask my boyfriend about going to treatment. We're talking about it. We're thinking about it. She actually got a Bible. There was free Bibles there. Sitting down, talking to someone that was there as a volunteer. And I was watching the buckets run out. I was watching them run out. Accidentally, told one guy, come over here. Do you want to get a bucket? And looked down and all the buckets were gone. And I thought to myself, next month on the 15th, I'll come back when they do it again. They do it once a month, the second Tuesday of every month. And I'm going to find a way to have hundreds of packages for these people. It is something that I can do right now, beginning with the end in mind. What I saw last night were people that were this much closer to making a decision. They're thinking about it. They're talking about it. They're afraid. They're lost. One lady in the park said, I hold my daughter's hand when we even do the crosswalks because I don't want her to go before it turns green. And I said, why? And she said, well, there's a warrant out for me because I missed my probation meeting. And I looked at her and I said, and your daughter is 16 and she's out here with you? And she said, yes. And I said, well, what if we could get her into foster care or something? And she said, I would never see her again. Clinging to a 16-year-old on the streets, worried how she's going to get food, an attorney, some water, stay safe, avoid, harm. It was heartbreaking. And when I got home last night, I thought about how broken the system is. Because once you're in the system, you're in the system, right? And nobody in America should ever have to worry about where to go to get some clean clothes, a hot meal, someone to help them get back on their feet, direct them towards the legal help, the counseling. Do you know what it is? What it really comes down to? It's brain health. It's trauma. And what I saw last night and the conversations that impacted me the most is people were this close to giving up and saying, it's never going to work out for me. I'm so far gone. How would I even turn my life around at this point? And then a glimmer of hope. And there were multiple people that my friend Jo Higginbotham that was there, she was saying, I almost got you in this home. I almost got you. And she looked at this guy that was a veteran, homeless veteran that fought in the Vietnam War, so much PTSD, so much schizophrenia, so much struggle with mental health. And she said, we're going to get you in there. And the next thing she said, once we get you in there, she said, I'm going to get you 30 days of this product that has helped me so much with my brain health. And my heart was so big when I got home last night. It literally just fuels me because every person that you meet every single day is fighting a battle that nobody knows. And maybe it's not addiction, homelessness. Maybe it's elderly people wondering who's going to take care of me, living on Social Security when they already couldn't afford to live on what they were making. Now they got to live on half, right? Are they going to be a burden to someone? How are they going to get their medications? Teenagers watching their parents struggle financially and listening to the fights about money and the arguments about how they're going to get through the month. Single moms that don't have anybody else. Single dads, let's talk about that. There's a lot of single dads too. It's not just moms. Sometimes it's the dad that steps up. And the veterans, the single moms, the elderly, the homeless, the depressed, people that have the money, they have all the things, but they're struggling mentally and they don't know how to get through the day. They turn to whatever they have to turn to feel good. Not forever. They're trying to feel good right now. They're just trying to get through the day. The girl last night, I said, what keeps you from just going with Joe and checking into a place? And it's the fear of the pain that she'll have to go through to let go of the life that is literally robbing her from all of her dreams and goals. Some of these people were skin and bones. And I had to think to myself, there's only a couple ways out of some of these addictions, and it's jail or death. Like, there's really no other way out. Sometimes these people that you see falling apart, you don't have to fix their problem. I want you to write this down. Last night, when my assistant messaged and said, what is the topic today? I said, I need to think about this, because I was in conversations this week with people who are in a really bad place, like a really bad place. And I would never talk about their story because it's no one else's business. But the truth is, they don't love themselves enough to find the way to feel good. They settle. They're settling. They're literally lowering their standards and settling because they don't love themselves. And so many people out there are smiling. You think, oh, they're doing good. They're doing good. They're doing good. They're actually not. They're silently falling apart. And I want you to write this down. Sometimes the greatest miracle that you can perform is not solving someone else's problem. It's literally just reminding them. Look them in the eye and say, you matter. You are somebody. You are not alone. I'm going to be here with you when you're ready. I'm going to be here with you to help you feel, maybe it's not perfect overnight, but to just feel a little bit better every single day. And that's also why we started the company Frequence, because of our story, because of our passion, because of our purpose for people that are struggling a silent battle. And we just want them to hold on, keep going, and be a part of a Feel Good Now revolution where they can literally have hope. That's what we're selling, is hope that there is a better way and that they could feel good now. Thank you so much, Renee, for commenting. And, if you're right here in Kansas City, Renee, you should go with me next time if you want. Yesterday, I told Dave they didn't have enough volunteers, and I was going to post on my wall and say, is there anyone in the Kansas City area? And I was talking about for next month. Dave was like, don't do that right now. Like, I was frantically like, they don't have enough clothes. They don't have enough people. They don't have enough water. They don't have enough volunteers to hand things out. But I want you to know that success in life, all the money and all the fame and all the fortune that you might see people experience, doesn't really give them happiness. It leaves them empty without significance. And significance is what every single one of us are striving for. All we think about is how we're going to make more money, how we're going to get to the next rank in our company, how we're going to get the next promotion, how you're going to get the new car, the new house, the new vacation, the next thing that you're striving for. And I want you just to slow down for a minute and ask yourself, does any of that stuff, does a Rolex really satisfy you? Does the new car really make you feel that happy? Does the home that you move in, that's your dream home, make you happy if you don't have family and people all around you that you can entertain or love on or cook for? I mean, do you really want a massive Christmas tree if there's nobody around it? Do you really want the dream vacation if you're sitting in Hawaii by yourself? No, you don't. It's the people. None of those things will satisfy your thirst for happiness. And some of you want to find that out on your own, but it's who you are. And I want to ask you, if you accomplished everything on your vision board, everything in the world that you ever dreamed of, would that really be success? We are blessed when we become a blessing. Everything you've ever built, your businesses, why were you a blessing? Your influence, when you go live, when you volunteer at your church, I have some friends doing vacation Bible school all week and they're running it. And I'm like wishing all my grandkids were right here and I could run one, right? Your finances. When do you feel good about your finances? Last night, my little nephew messaged me and said, Aunt Barb, can you sponsor the college football team? Now, I've done a lot of little small town football teams. I don't know what his college team sponsorship is going to be like, but I was like, yes, absolutely, I will. To see him graduate and go on to play college football, what can I do to contribute to that dream, right? Some of you have to stop and think it's not about you, it's what you can do to help other people, because it was never meant to stop with you. It was meant to flow through you. And God blesses that. Abundance flows where energy goes. And some people are in such a mindset, like we were taught in Sunday school, tithe 10%, right? It didn't mean you had to give away 10% of your money. It could be your time. It could be your resources. It could be last night, the company giving free products. It could be me buying multiple buckets for the God's Bucket Brigade. It can be whatever you have. Maybe you don't have any money. Maybe you don't have any resources that you can, but you have a skill. Maybe you are a mental health advocate. Maybe you do have a story. Maybe you do have a degree in psychology or addiction treatment and recovery or battered women. That's one thing that I could just go on a whole thing about, like imagining women. There was a day where I was so not confident that I would literally settle for the worst treatment. And I won't even speak of that chapter or people, but I will tell you, I used to literally think, if I don't have this, will anyone else ever love me? I literally used to think that. Can you imagine me in this chapter, the girl that you see, ever being that person? Somebody was an angel to me. Somebody was an invisible angel to me. And I want you to think of yourself, your story. Maybe you do have the resources. Maybe you do have the time. Maybe you do have a comeback story. Maybe there's a book in you that's unwritten. What do you have? Because Invisible Angels is not about me asking you to give money to a charity. That is not what this is about. It's a movement. It's a feel good now revolution. It's you being able to make impact because you matter. And because you do matter, what you give makes you feel so much better that good things start to happen for you. When you're struggling and you're depressed and you're heartbroken, I remember a time one of my children had been so heartbroken, and the coach at the college gave her 365 days of little envelopes to open for someone that was heartbroken. She kept dropping a box off at her house every week. And I was so amazed, like, where did this coach come from? I was hours away from the college. She was an invisible angel. And one day she told her story of being engaged and having such a big dream and thinking that she was going to marry the man of her dreams, being abused, living on an island, all the money in the world, and realizing that she was in a relationship with a guy that was literally a massive dealer of drugs. So much money coming in, so much abuse, and she got stood up at the altar. And I remember this woman's single story of heartache and heartbreak, bringing so much compassion to someone in my family that I love so much. And she was an invisible angel, not because of money, not because of time, because she stopped not to fix a problem, but to say, you matter, and I love you, and I know how you feel. I have felt the same way. You can get through this. I will help you get through this. And someday we will celebrate. And I think about that. Like, I look around at my children and I say, who was there for them when I couldn't be? That showed up when they needed someone so bad and was a blessing to them. That's what an invisible angel is. So I want you to understand, Invisible Angels Foundation is not about a charity. It's about a movement. People don't just need products. They need hope. They need encouragement. They need someone to believe in them. Someone that's willing to stop being so busy that they will take a minute and say, you matter. Not let me fix you, not let me change you, not let me control you. Just love them and say, you matter. Become someone's invisible angel, not because they deserve it, not because they deserve it, because somebody was once your invisible angel. I could tell you a million times where I was like, get your shit together and quit doing this, right? I felt that way with Dave's brother many times before we lost them to this horrible disease of addiction, mental health, depression, just all the mind messed upness. And I did everything that I could, and it wasn't enough to fix it. There are times where you cannot be there for someone. But if there is any way that I can be a light to someone, I am building an army of invisible angels and finding a purpose that's so much bigger than yourself. When you are depressed, when that coach was helping my loved one that was depressed, she said it literally helped her to heal. When I see a mama, and I talked with one last night, and she said, our daughter went away for 7 months to a treatment center, therapy, was doing so good. And she looked at me with tears in her eyes. I'm never going to share a name. I'm never going to share someone else's story. She couldn't even talk. She said 7 months she went, and today she's back. She went like this, and she went like this. And I asked her, why do you think that is? It's trauma, you guys. It's so much deeper than anyone realizes. It's a disease where people don't know any other way that they can feel good. And it is my belief, and why I'm going to do this until the day that I die. Until we fix the trauma, until we take away the labels, the judgment, the shame, the guilt, we help people raise their vibration, that resonance, where they can feel back to how they felt before all the stuff happened. It is not about a drug. It is not about a substance. It is not about a supplement that I created. It's that person feeling that they matter. It's not that something's wrong with them. It's what happened to them. And when you can forgive and look at people and say, what happened to you that you got to this point? And how can I help you get back to what God created you to be? Sometimes they have to go through that struggle in order to have the story to truly become what God has planned for them. One day, my mentor and my prayer partner said to me, Barb, quit trying to fix everyone's problems. Do you think your mom's heart was broken when you and Dave were losing your car? You were in a bankruptcy situation. Your checks were bouncing. You couldn't afford formula for Chance. I mean, I was breastfeeding, but he was so colic. We had to get this extra stuff that was like $7. It was some lactose thing. And we couldn't afford it. Like, we literally couldn't afford it. And one day we wrote a check for $7.49 to try and get him to stop crying. And the check bounced. And I kept wanting to go back and get the check. But like, I never had the extra because now there was the $25 fee. And then there was the court fee. And one day on Brooklyn's second birthday, her 2-year birthday, the sheriff knocked on the gate and told Dave, I need you to come with me, in front of all of our family and all of our friends that he worked with on the construction crew. And Dave got arrested for a $7.49 check. Now, I want you guys to think about that. My husband, our family, my Dave, our children in the backyard. Chance was not even a year. He was 9 months. Brooklyn was 1 year. And I didn't have $7.49 for formula. That is the truth. And there was someone that believed in us that said, let us give you a job. Let us help you. get started in a business. Let us help you get on your feet. There was a lot of invisible angels there. Our moms couldn't do it. They were broker than we were, right? But my point to you is the world teaches you to ask. You just don't listen. You don't listen. You want to fix everybody. And last night, I tried to just listen instead of trying to get this girl that was 16-year-old into foster care, instead of trying to help this mom that was falling apart. Like, let me take you and get you on a Zoom meeting that helped me so much with parents that are literally losing their own life trying to fix a child that doesn't want change. I've been in the depths of despair so many times where I wanted to give up. And I just want to ask this question every day. Who needs me? And how can I be of service? I see Joanna Miranda on here, and she lost her spouse to overdose. And being a single mom today, she helps so many people that are struggling to be able to have hope and know that it's not them and there's nothing wrong with them, and that they can stand up and set a boundary. I saw Sal Giglio on here, who lost his sister with drug addiction, and it was horrific. And he battled himself. He tells me every day, I'll go on the streets with you and help these people. Yes, it's dangerous. Yes, it's out of a comfort zone. But you guys, we are building an army of people that want to help other people survive one more day. Everybody out there, they're just trying to make it. And there's 4 stages of this. There's a lot of people who are just surviving. There was a time in my life where I was just surviving, barely. And it sucked. I was just trying to make it financially, trying to make it mentally. When Dave's only brother took his life, my husband battled the worst depression I have ever seen. And then came the anger, and then came the sadness, and then came the isolation, and then came the not wanting our business, any friends, no people around, anything. Like, he was low. But that's our story. And it's why we care about helping people with mind weaving and mind mapping and the Thinking Cure, the book he wrote, and then A Memoir of Our Life, No Guts, No Story. And the way that our books, the vulnerability could be of impact until one day when we could start something like this. How many of you have lost someone that you love to addiction, overdose, suicide, mental health, schizophrenia, abuse? How many of you love someone that's currently being abused and they don't love themselves enough to leave? I have a niece that took beatings for years before she finally left and went far away. And my sister and my brother-in-law would go there, get the kids, take the kids away, go to court, stand up for her, try to give her all the things. She didn't feel worthy. And here's what I realized. You can't fix someone until they want help. Today, she came just not that long ago to graduation, brought her new partner. His name is Doug. Everybody was like, thank God for Doug, right? But it took years of her going through that struggle before she wanted more than just survival. She wanted success and happiness. You go from survival to some success. It builds your confidence. It could be small wins every day, a little bit of recognition, someone caring about you, reaching down and saying, come on, I'm going to help you get out of this, helping them to make money. I love helping people make money. I love the business model that we've created. I love that Frequence, our company, allows people online to get a free affiliate link if they grab a pack, and that they can get money as soon as next Friday. It's a choice. I can lead a horse to water. I can't make them drink, right? I can bring the lifeboat and see someone that's they're I'm drowning over here. I'm drowning. And you just want to grab them by the back of the head and say, you are not drowning. You're face down in 5 inches of water, freaking out, panicking, and you're this close to success. But you got to lift your head up and take a deep breath and say, I am enough. I do deserve better. I do want better. And sometimes people just got to say, face down in 6 inches of water and drowning, and you can't get them to see the difference. I know that. I know that some of these homeless people don't want to change. I know that some of the addicts don't want to make the choice. I know that some of the people who are in a bad situation, they're choosing that. We all have choices to make every single day, but some people don't understand that they do get second chances, and they can be and do and have a life that they dream of. And there is an invisible angel there that's saying, come with me and let's go from where you're at to over here. The second step after survival is a little bit of success. Just getting into treatment, getting a therapist, getting a fresh set of clothes, a new pair of shoes, some clean underwear for the first time in 31 days. Seeing people get clean underwear, 2 pairs of socks, wipies, underwear, deodorant, and a toothbrush literally lights me up. And seeing someone walk up there last night when all the buckets were gone and all the clothes were picked over on the table literally broke my heart. I'm never going to stop. Invisible Angels is just beginning. When you have success and you make a little bit of money and you want to help, all you have to do is go to invisibleangels.foundation and you can give. You can give. You can give one time. You can give every month. I don't care. You're going to see the things that are going to happen because you said, I want to give and make a difference, right? And this is not me doing an altar call or a pass the plate around. I don't care if you give or not. I'll fund it myself if I have to. Here's what I want to say. When you have success and you make money and you're winning and you get a little bit of recognition, you start to feel significance. That's what I do every single day in our business. I help people to have a little bit of success, to help them to make a little bit of money, help them to win a little bit and recognize them to know that they do matter. I'm doing something for other people that someone did for me, and I would love to invite you to be a part of that. When you have significance and you can help others and give back, it feels so much better than you having success. And then the last phase is legacy. You start with survival, then you have a little bit of success. Then you feel significant and you can help others and give back. And then the legacy is creating something that's so much bigger than you. It's here long after you're gone. And I think about that every single day. I don't need a statue erected for me somewhere. I don't need anyone to talk about what I gave or what I made or how successful I was. I need people to walk up to my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and say, your grandma made a difference. Invisible angels made a difference in my life. I want to create so many success stories so I don't have to talk about my childhood, my financial struggles, my addiction in my family, my battles with mental health through so many people that we love, the suicide that rocked not just my kids' world, but when I was a little girl and my dad lost his only brother, it rocked our world. You just didn't talk about it back then. Today, I'm going to talk about it every single day. I don't think we should sweep it under a rug. I think we should normalize that people have trauma and every painful chapter becomes preparation for purpose. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was bad. It was our thinking that made it so, because God had a plan in your life. People spend years searching for purpose. Purpose isn't something that you just find your purpose. Purpose is discovered when you're in pain. Purpose is discovered when you're serving others. You don't just think your way, what is my purpose? You become a part of different organizations that fill you up, that make you feel like you're part of an organization that matters. And I want to invite every single one of you to live your way into purpose. I don't know what you've been through in your life, but your story matters. And I want to ask you to write these things down. Take out a sheet of paper, and I want you to answer these questions this week. This is an assignment. Who can I encourage? I was going to say, who can I impact? Who can I impact? Who can I encourage? Who could I feed? Who could you feed? You know, it's funny. Every time we leave the lake, it's so annoying to my family. They'll be in the car waiting, and I'm cleaning out our entire fridge, and I'm going across the street because my neighbor lady passed away this week, or this year. Not this week. It's been a year. And this week I did go see her husband. He's a widow. On 4th of July, it broke my heart that he didn't come out of his house. On Father's Day, it broke my heart. I truly believe my neighbor lady passed away because of the stress of what her family was going through. Her daughter on Christmas Eve crossed the center line and she was a drunk driver and killed a man. That man and his family was headed to Christmas. Is it wrong what she did? It's wrong. Is it devastating what she did? It's devastating. But her mama had to read the headlines. She had to read the comments. Her mom and I had so many talks about addiction, recovery, how alcoholism was just taking her daughter's life. A year before that, her daughter moved there to the lake, got out of an abusive relationship, and the mama was so happy that Jennifer moved. She moved next door and actually rented one of our lake homes. Watching her mom love her through that, and they didn't win the battle. Her mom had so much trauma. I 100% believe that trauma, that stress, it's the silent killer that nobody thinks about. Yesterday, in the headlines in Salina, Kansas, I saw that a girl got sentenced to 14 years because she crossed the line. She was a drunk driver. The family, it's devastating on both sides. But I want to tell you guys this. Nothing any of us have ever done, ever, any sin, right or wrong, whatever you've ever done. And I'm a strong believer in my Lord Jesus Christ. But I will tell you, nothing anyone's ever done to hurt me will ever cause the pain that I caused him. And I will promise you this. Every single one of these people is forgiven and they're loved and they're fighting a silent battle that nobody knows. My heart ached for the family that lost their loved one, and my heart also aches for the person that everyone else is commenting, they should die, they should be killed. Yes, it's anger, it's pain, it's hurt, it's division. Everyone's hating on everybody. And I want to tell you the secret that nobody understands. These people are just trying to survive. They're just trying to survive. And they're fighting a silent battle, all of them, that nobody knows. Had that been my family, I would be devastated too. I would be angry too. I would want justice too. But I'll tell you, every week when I leave the house, I answer this question. Who can I feed? I clean out my whole fridge. I run it across the street to the little neighbor man. Sometimes he's so overwhelmed, he takes it to the other couples and says, she brings me so much food, I don't have room. But do you know what I think? How can I be of a blessing to someone in need? And I think all of us should think this way every single day. It's not about the money you give. It's your time. Just to walk across the street and say, you matter. How are you? How have you been feeling? I know you miss your wife. I didn't see you come out this week. I wanted to bring you some food. Who can I encourage? Number 1 question. Who can I feed? Number 2 question. Number 3 question. Who can I forgive? Who can I forgive? Because I will tell you something. The day all those people hating that I saw yesterday I hate it. I hate the news. I hate the negative news. I can't get away from it because I have to go on Facebook because of my business. But if I didn't have a business, y'all would never see me. I would post tomorrow, happy anniversary to my beautiful daughter, Callie, and her husband, Darian. I would post my grandkids on their birthdays because I love them so much and I want to share. I love posting pictures of my family. I love sharing happy things. I hate the hate. I hate the bullying. I hate the bullying because I've been that mom who had a child that messed up. And I've seen all the comments. And I want to tell you all something that you don't think about. You want to go be quick to comment. Maybe this person did do something wrong. Here's what I want you to think about next time. Their innocent mother is reading all those comments. And so are their brothers and sisters. And it's deeper than that. So are their nieces and nephews. And do you know, whether they did anything wrong or not, they suffer too, because mean people suck and they're everywhere. And they got to just get in there and make their little comment about their opinion, when in reality, if they could just forgive, not for the person that did something wrong, for themselves, their heart would be different. Who can I encourage? Who can I feed? Who can I forgive? Number 4, who could I call? Today, I'm going to call someone that I know is struggling. I saw yesterday, this person posted, they felt like giving up. I know exactly how my day is going to go. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to do the corporate call at 11. I'm going to get in my car and drive. I have a big leader on a call at 2. And at 1 o'clock, I am going to dial the person that I know needs a phone call. How could you just give a little bit of your time and call someone that you love and say, how are you? I've been thinking about you. Here's a big one. Who have I ignored? Who have I ignored? Who just made you so mad this week that you're just going to give them the silent treatment? Because it's not about you. You feel a certain way because you didn't get the significance. You feel a certain way because of something they said or did. But what if they weren't here tomorrow and you've just been ignoring them? There's been times in my life I wanted to ignore. There's been times in my life I actually wanted to get even. There's been times in my life I wanted to cut people out. But what I have to remember is who I am. I am a child of the Most High God, and every single one of you are too. Yesterday, we went to the Kansas City Art Museum, and we were walking around, and there was this timeline. There was 400-year-old paintings of the crucifixion. But prior to that, there was all the people that lived before Christ, right? And Dave was like, Barb, look how old these things are. Look at these silk tapestries that are 1,000 years old, right? Like, it was amazing seeing all the artifacts and the tombs that mummies were buried in. And it made me want to go to Greece. It made me want to go see where, all the sculptures, and we didn't have that long at the art museum. We need to go back, but we were on our way to eat lunch with Darian's mom, and we were downtown Kansas City, and it was just showing all the history and all the art. And there was so many religions in there, guys. There was, like, when we walked into this one room, there was this huge altar painting, and it was like before my greatest grandma's. But when I walked in there, I told Dave, like, this reminds me of going to the Catholic church with my grandma Schneider. And, like, they were all Catholics, right? And a lot of people thought they were wrong. Then I would go over to my other grandma's house, and she was a Baptist, and I would learn about how they were right. And today in my adult life at 55 years old, I have to think to myself, did any of that really all need to divide families? I look at political posts. And this week I made a post and I was like, this is not political. I do agree with an opinion that someone had about how the recovery system is broken and how we need to start rewarding people for helping people get well, not just pay all the money to all the institutions with the revolving door so they go to treatment and to jail and back out on the streets and then back to jail and then back to treatment. Like, let's help people heal. The world needs Jesus. The world needs God. The world needs more love, more hope, less division, and more people just saying, you know what? We don't have to have an argument about this. You can have your own opinion. And I used to say you can have your own opinion, but you have the right to be wrong. And now I just say you can have your own opinion. I'm going to love you anyway, because I love everybody and I might not be right. Have you ever thought about that? You might not be right. How could you just become someone else's invisible angel this week? Because here's the thing. One day, people are not going to remember that you were a blue diamond in my company. They weren't going to remember the rank that you achieved, whether it was the military, and I love our military, whether it was how high you were up a bishop in your church. They're not going to know what cul-de-sac you lived in. They're not going to know if you had leather seats or cloth. They're not going to even care about your speeches that you gave. Nobody's going to remember No Guts, No Story. Dave looked at Callie and Darian and I yesterday. He said, do you realize that 100 years from today, none of us are going to be here? None of us. Not even this newborn baby will probably be here. And we were just like, wow. But do you know what people will remember generation after generation after generation? The day that they were losing hope and somebody was there for the person that they loved. Somebody was there for them. You showed up when they were this close to giving up. And maybe that's what an invisible angel really means. I'm building an army. If you want to be a part of it, drop in the comments, like put your hand up and say, I want to be a part of that. We may never know all the lives that we touch on this side of heaven, but I believe every act of kindness echoes into eternity. I really believe that. I want you to dream so big. I want you to build something so boldly. I want you to succeed beyond your wildest dreams and to never forget that the greatest purpose that you are ever going to find is making sure that someone else is seen, loved, and never alone. And if this aligns with you, every Saturday morning, I do a podcast, a live stream, a YouTube, a Facebook Live. It's everywhere, called No Guts, No Story. That's just free. But my mission and my vision is to invite other people to be a part of our Invisible Angels Foundation. Some people want to be a part of our company, Frequence. It invites people to move beyond all of their personal success. Invisible Angels helps you to go from like all the things that you think are important to really be of impact to someone else. And if this is in alignment with you and you want to make lasting significance, drop in the comment significance, because I will reach out to you. I want to ask you, what could you give? Drop in the comments, what is your gift? Can you speak? Can you cook? Can you sew? Can you get people to do donations? Can you, do you have a profession? Are you a counselor? Are you a survivor of addiction? Do you have a testimony? Have you been homeless? Have you been domestically abused? I mean, listening to Gloria Mayfield Banks, she survived domestic abuse and she gets paid $20,000 an hour to speak, right? We're having her come speak at our event in August. And I will tell you something. She brings so much value because she lived through pain that gave her purpose. Drop in the comments if you have a gift that you could give, if you have time that you could give. And if you don't have any of that, you can just go to invisibleangels.foundation and find a way that you can give. Email us and let us know how you would like to help. I hope today has inspired you. I don't talk about invisible angels enough. Oh, Sharon, I love your story. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anorexia survivor. Everyone is fighting a battle that nobody knows. And what I want to say to you is, you are not alone. You are not alone. There is someone there that cares and your life matters. I hope that you have enjoyed today and that has inspired you in some way to be a part of invisibleangels.foundation. I look forward to not just success, not just significance, way more than survival, but a legacy that we are going to build together. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week on No Guts, No Story.